Thank you, Megan, for that wonderful introduction, and also Amy and Carlos Alexis for your work behind the scenes. Today, I will show an excerpt from a 10-minute play that I wrote titled Miss Anne. Miss Anne was produced as a part of Cornell University's 10-minute play festival in 2017. This plenary examines the resilience of performance in the COVID-19 era, and Miss Anne's resilience is reflected in how it captures the recurring conversations on policing and anti-Black violence. The recording that you will see is a dress rehearsal filmed on my smartphone. This echoes the practice of cop watching, a form of surveillance that allows citizens to turn a lens on the police and empower their communities. This dress rehearsal also serves as a lens into the rehearsal process. The actors were still learning their lines, and you, the audience, will see a difference between the subtitles and the dialogue. As this work develops, I intend to shift the focus of the work beyond the titular Miss Anne and its focus on individual police officers. I will show how an entire community is shaped by policing and how communities can be transformed through abolition. The working title of my full-length play is A Living Newspaper, inspired by the work of the Federal Theater Project. I want to explore how the conversation around policing has deepened in a post-Black Lives Matter world. What are the dynamics that have shaped the summer 2020 rebellions that have erupted in the wake of George Floyd's lynching and continue in cities like Portland? A Living Newspaper will examine the tensions between abolitionist organizers in the trenches and liberal reformers who are using the moment to raise their personal profiles. Audiences will see racist police union bosses, cable news anchors who express sympathy for protesters while stigmatizing looters, and the political prisoners who have been behind bars since Ferguson. Instead of ending with resignation in this future project, I intend to show what happens after Sergeant Vivian Innes, the play's protagonist, leaves the police force. She goes into the community to work with abolitionist organizers, divulging law enforcement secrets and assisting in the formation of a world without police. Lights up on an interrogation room.
Mr. Jackson said that you kicked Kenny Williams in the head 3 times. The ME determined that he died from head injury.
I don't remember that, but he did get into a bar fight 2 hours earlier. Jackson lied about the kicking. I can't imagine why in the world he would do that, but he lied. Tried to throw me under the bus and he got fired for it. Look, I'm not sure if I like where this is going.
I just want to make sure we've covered all our bases before I officially close the case.
Really?
Yes, really.
There were more than 20 hotel guests and employees who said they didn't see me do nothing.
Because she coerced them into saying that.
Look, I know this is personal for you. Jackson grew up in your neighborhood and everything, but he was often inappropriate.
How exactly?
Well, I caught him checking me out once. I bent over to pick some paperwork off the floor, and when I got back up, his eyes were fixed on my posterior.
Are you sure that he was looking at you?
You see what she's trying to do? Trying to turn me into a super predator. A scary old black thug.
I mean, I didn't want to turn it into a whole thing, but it seemed to imply he lacked some focus and discretion.
That's very circumstantial.
Just wanted to paint a complete picture of him, darling. And look, I know you want to make lieutenant, but this has been resolved. We need to unite together as officers, and you're being divisive. This boy...
Mr. Jackson.
Whatever. He was terminated because he wasn't cut out to be an officer. The brass called a panel and decided to let him go, and that's it. I've been answering questions about this case for the past 3 months, and everyone keeps trying to pin this on me. This is sexism and ageism. If I were a male officer, all of this would have been swept under the rug.
She keeps deflecting.
Wait, you're not trying to wrap this up. You're trying to trick me. Are you some kind of Black Lives Matter plant or something? Why are you so dead set on bringing me down? I'm your sister.
You are not my sister.
You, how illegally disinterested. All this huffing and puffing like you're Olivia Pope or something. Well, let me tell you, even if you think I'm too old for Jackson to check out, even if you think something fishy happened at the hotel that night, that kid was never meant to be an officer and he couldn't handle the job.
That wasn't for you to decide.
Look, I get it. We need more officers who look like the people we serve. But we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place if we didn't have all these diversity programs.
If you want to come out and say I was unqualified to lead this investigation, come out and say it.
Wasn't saying that at all. I'm just saying, be glad you were born nearly 2 decades after I was. You should be thanking me. I cleared a path for you. I'm gonna retire walking a beat because no one ever encouraged me to do better.
Kenny Williams' death was not the results of a bar fight.
You think I killed him?
The medical evidence.
Was it your dad? Oh, excuse me, Deputy Commissioner Ennis. Put in a good word for you? Couldn't get a job on your own, even with that fancy art history degree from Princeton? So sad. The medical evidence was inconclusive, sugar. You don't really know what happened.
I know you killed him.
And I know your boy is a liar.
You killed him. You killed him because Black life has no value to you. Because you're a sociopath. Because you're a white woman. Because you'd rather protect property than to serve people. Because you could. I can have you written up for your insubordination. I can end your career.
So, you gonna arrest me? Well, I didn't think so. Anyhow, it was great speaking to you, hun.
Get out! I should have slapped her. She deserved it.
Give up. Let me finish this, V.
Killing a public servant will get you executed.
Consider it a kind of restorative violence. A response to his cry for help. Listen, this whole thing with Stacy, you weren't trying to show me anything. You were trying to prove to yourself that there is something to be redeemed in this department, and there isn't. Police departments are, not just here, but anywhere, are fundamentally anti-black institutions. You know I appealed my firing in court. Guess what the judge told me?
What?
She said she didn't know if Stacy killed Kenny Williams or not. And then she said police departments are given a presumption of correctness. Basically, the police are right, even when they're not. If you're not a coward, if you don't want to be a part of an institution that is covering up a man's murder, you will turn in your badge and shield tonight.